Now at 9, conflict on the Carthage City Council as motions are filed against the city administrator and mayor. Plus, Joplin residents get a chance to learn about plans for future downtown events. And area construction companies head to Pitt State for the university's annual School of Construction Expo.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. The city of Carthage will host a meeting tomorrow to discuss the possible removal of the city administrator, Greg Dagnon, and consider articles of impeachment against the mayor. The decision to hold a special meeting to discuss these and other topics was made during last night's packed city council meeting. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has more.
The first meeting for some new Carthage City Council members was eventful. A motion to terminate City Administrator Greg Dagnon's employment immediately was proposed by City Council member Alan Snow. But according to the mayor, the motion was not appropriate.
They have to be able to have a hearing. They have to be presented with charges. There has to be a cause. And so far, none of that has been presented. So you can't remove an officer of the city by making a motion to do it.
The discussion on the topic was rescheduled to happen on Thursday evening alongside articles of impeachment against the mayor.
Anything that the mayor doesn't like, he tries to find a way to prevent from happening or prevent from being discussed, and I feel that this is just more of the same.
According to Snow and some other council members, the city has been divided and has lost trust in the city hall.
I don't believe that our city, because of the distrust, can move forward with the city administrator still serving.
I feel like Mr. Dagnon has taken on a little bit more of a role of a city manager, which is more direct authority in that role.
Part of the conflict lies around Dagnon's contract with the city.
I believe that the mayor gave him a letter to offer him a job that was never ratified or approved by council.
Traditionally by our city are between the employee and the mayor. That's the way they have always been done, and that's the way mine was done when I started.
According to Dagnon, the contract says he cannot be fired for the first 10 years unless there is a cause. We tried contacting the city's HR to understand the city's policy when it comes to employee contracts, the possible removal of the city administrator, and the consideration of articles of impeachment against the mayor. However, we cannot get a clarification on the procedure because of a motion made Tuesday night. New council member John Ashram made a motion to prohibit city employees from speaking to the media about city-related issues without the approval of the city council. The motion was tabled and added to Thursday night's city's council meeting as a resolution.
Some motions that were made should really have been either in the form of a council bill or a resolution, and they were not. None of them were on the agenda, which they need to be, and some of them are just the process. That was the wrong point in the process for a motion like that to be made.
We also tried contacting the city's attorney but couldn't reach him.
We're all one team, and if they don't want me on their team, that is okay, but there's actually rules that must be followed. There are our charter, ordinances, and state laws, and they need to follow them, and they're not doing that.
Well, I believe that removing Mr. Dagnon from the position would be a significant step towards healing the city and trying to pull us back together in a unified manner.
In Carthage, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Well, there's also a dispute regarding the Water and Electric Board and Water and Electric salaries. The City Council also approved a motion declaring no confidence in the leadership of Mayor Dan Reif. Now, prior to going to air with this story, we did hear from the city's attorney. You can find the answer to our questions as well as additional information on this story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, luckily the rain has started to clear out of here. We see it shifting off to the east. In a couple of hours, it'll be completely out of our region, and by tomorrow morning, we'll have sunny skies. Now, this is part of a larger system with the main threat going through Texas and now moving through Arkansas. There was a secondary rain system that passed down in those southern states, dropped a tornado out in Houston as well as Louisiana. So we did not get any of the severe threat We did get some rain, and it totaled up to nearly 3 inches in some areas. Luckily, after tonight, we'll go on a warming trend. We have a ridge forming over our area. Tomorrow, we'll have some faster winds, and tonight, temperatures drop down to about 45 degrees. So we are cooler, but don't worry, warming trend is on the way, and I'll have more details for you in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, the city of Joplin announces plans to revitalize Ewart Park thanks to voters renewing the quarter-cent parks and stormwater sales tax. Those plans include developing a new splash park, which the city says would be a state-of-the-art seasonal park to replace the aquatic center. It would feature water areas during the summer and an ice skating ribbon during the winter. They also plan to add a new playground, a multi-use basketball court, and amphitheater. You can check out the designs through a virtual open house on our website. Well, Joplin residents and business owners gathered at the Roxy this evening to learn about what's going on and what's planned for the downtown area. The Downtown Alliance puts on the Downtown Now event 4 times a year, and tonight's focus zeroed in on streetscaping and laid out design plans for the southern portion of the downtown corridor, one of the many projects funded by the city's capital improvement sales tax. Attendees also got the chance to learn about Liberty Utilities' rebate program for businesses and find out how they can replace their existing lighting with LED lights. Solution Tree today gave the Carthage Intermediate Center a celebration box containing a flag and a certificate of recognition. Solution Tree is a company that provides training and published materials for educators. The box was designed to recognize the Center for Achievements in enhancing student learning.
Oh my goodness, it is so exciting, such an affirmation of the hard work that our teachers put into collaboration on a daily and yearly basis.
The Intermediate Center is just one of 44 schools to receive one of those boxes. Pitt State's Kansas Technology Center today hosted its School of Construction Expo. The expo began in 2013 as a single company, providing an opportunity for PSU construction students to experience equipment they may see in their careers. 2 years ago, it expanded to include interior design and electrical technology exhibits and vendors.
So we try to bring a little bit of that to them. Last night we had a networking session with the companies, and we had education sessions that was open to the public and general contractors as well. And so we were trying to bring that to them, and it's free to them and to area contractors and such, and try to bring a little bit of that here.
The event has grown in recent years to include as many as 800 attendees and 100 companies. Well, a perfect match in more ways than one. Coming up, how a Kansas City woman helped to keep her husband alive. The EPA today announced a new rule to limit some harmful chemicals in the nation's drinking water. It requires public drinking water systems to monitor, reduce, and report high levels of 6 of the most common and toxic chemicals known as PFAs, or forever chemicals. The exposure to high levels of these chemicals has been linked to cancers, liver and heart issues, and developmental issues for infants and children.
These chemicals entering our environment in an uncontrolled manner are harmful to our families, harmful to our communities, and harmful to our economy.
PFAs are used in everyday products, including food packaging, nonstick cookware, cosmetics, and other personal care products. EPA announced nearly $1 billion in funding to help states and territories meet the new standards. An Odessa, Missouri couple has proven to be a perfect match, not just in their marriage, but also in a life-saving kidney transplant. Ellen Shope has more on this act of true love.
My wife really encouraged me to consider the transplant.
Odessa's Stephen Eller says one thing is now very clear about arguments with his wife.
I kind of gave that up, trying to be right all the time.
In March 2023, Eller was going through kidney failure and was told he would need a donor. And sometimes a perfect match is hard to find. But for this husband and wife team, they only had to look at each other.
I just had this gut feeling that I would be his donor.
After getting tested, it turned out Sandra and Stephen were a perfect match. Stephen was shocked that his donor would be his best friend.
Because there's so many people out there, the people lose hope.
I just felt so truly blessed that I was going to be able to save his life.
First thing she actually asked when she woke up is, how was the kidney doing? She wasn't even worried about herself. She wanted to know how that kidney was doing.
The doctor says it's not uncommon for couples or family members to want to help each other and donate a kidney, but he says it's extremely special when it works out this well.
Pretty nice when we're able to actually make that work.
Well, we joke a lot about it, saying that now we literally can never be separated because he's always got me with him wherever he goes.
She had a feeling that she would match me. Boy, did she ever.
And the couple says the most important thing:
be able to spend another 20 years together.
And they will. Lindsay is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, a Labette County High School basketball standout signs to continue his career at an area community college.
Been a pretty rainy, dreary last couple of days for us, but the rain has started to shift off to the east. We'll take a look outside at downtown Joplin from the Cornell Complex camera. You see it's still a little wet out there. Winds do start to pick up tonight and into tomorrow morning, and the amount of rain we've gotten is still falling as we move into the evening hours. But right above Joplin, just north of Joplin, we see some rain got up to about 3 inches. So a little localized flooding could be expected there. And here's the rain that we're seeing move off to the east. Now passing through Joplin, will be clearing out of here in the next hour or two. It's a part of a bigger system with the main threats of severe weather had gone through Texas and through Arkansas. However, there was another storm system that passed today as well, going through our southern states. And you can see there was a lot of tornado reports. We had tornado that went through Houston, Louisiana, Mississippi, and even in Alabama. So that was a pretty severe storm. Luckily, we didn't see that. We just got some rain in the area, which is always good, especially for our drought conditions. Now, for the next couple of days, we do go on a warming trend. Temperatures are going to get up to the 80s, and it is not starting tonight. Pretty cool night ahead, and tomorrow only getting up to about 63 degrees as our high, and across the region mid 60s. So not as warm as what we were seeing, temperatures in the 70s, but like I said, we do go on that warming trend, so temperatures getting up to the 80s by this weekend. Now we do have winds picking up pretty quickly tomorrow, about 20-25 miles per hour, and we do see gusts up to 30-35 miles per hour. This starts pretty early in the morning and continues to about 1 p.m. tomorrow. Still winds gusting above 30 miles per hour. They will start to die down as we move into the evening hours tomorrow. Now, normally there would be a pretty significant fire weather concern, and it still is a concern for any areas that didn't receive much rainfall in the last couple of days. So if you stay dry, tomorrow is going to be a dry day and windy day, so you could have some fire weather concerns. Now, for anywhere that had a lot of rainfall, may not be as much of a concern tomorrow. However, as this ridge forms over our area, bringing in all those warmer temperatures and drier conditions, we are going to see fire weather chances come back around again this weekend. So tomorrow we have those windy conditions. Temperatures start to warm up by Saturday in the 80s, another dry day and windy, so fire weather concerns come back around on Saturday. It's going to get pretty hot on Sunday. We see temperatures getting up to 84, and there's not a breeze on Sunday, so it may feel pretty sticky and hot out there. By Monday, 82, and then we have some storms rolling in Tuesday, early morning on Tuesday, and it's going to drop those temperatures down quite a bit with all those rain chances we have next week.
Well, I know a lot of people are looking for a dry spell before the rain happens again, so.
Not bad. Yeah, this week is pretty perfect. And temperatures in the 80s, getting a little taste of summertime. Oh, you don't like the 80s?
I'd keep it in the 70s.
Sunny and 75.
Let's work on that.
There's a song that's like that.
You know there is.
There is.
Yeah, well,
probably
not
for a good reason.
Sunny and 75 has such a better ring than hot and 84.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, coming up, looking for answers.
The rocky rollout of the Department of Education's new FAFSA application system gets scrutinized on Capitol Hill. I'm Mike Emanuel with more on this story coming up.
We now know when Whataburger will open in Joplin. The sign in front of the restaurant says the opening date is May 13th. It's located at 2014 South Rangeline. Now, they also hosted open interviews there today. Another Whataburger location is also going up, this one in Webb City. Crews laid asphalt there last Friday. It's not clear when that location will open. So exciting. Would-be college students looking to get financial aid have been left in the lurch this year because the government website used to apply has been riddled with issues. And now Congress wants answers on what went wrong. Fox News Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel has the details.
The botched rollout of the Department of Education's new FAFSA application system, the online form students use to apply for financial aid, gets scrutinized on Capitol Hill. Lawmakers getting a first-hand account of how ongoing issues are impacting students, families, and colleges.
January 30th, 2024. That day will live in the collective trauma of most financial aid offices across the country.
Typically, the online form goes live in October, but this year it wasn't available until January. But it was plagued by errors and glitches. This resulted in a decline in FAFSA applications. According to the National College Attainment Network, so far only 27% of high school seniors have completed the form. And those who have completed may need to make corrections.
The department estimates that 20% of the files that schools have are riddled with errors.
But it's not just the Department of Education facing scrutiny. Ahead of Wednesday's hearing, Senate Democrats sent a letter to General Dynamics, the federal contractor behind the new FAFSA application. Senators Elizabeth Warren and Ron Wyden accusing the company of failing to keep its promise of improving the system. Warren and Wyden writing, quote, "Indeed, it now appears that your efforts to date have been a near total failure and that the FAFSA problems caused by this failure are harming millions of students and hundreds of colleges." General Dynamics has until April 23rd to respond to questions in the letter, including how much money they've received from the federal government. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Up next, if you're still hanging on to those eclipse glasses, we'll tell you where you can send them. Well, now that the eclipse is over, you may be wondering what to do with your eclipse glasses. There are a number of organizations that recycle or reuse them. Astronomers Without Borders has been accepting donations of eclipse glasses for 15 years. They partner with organizations where you can drop off or mail your used glasses, including retailers like Warby Parker. You can also send them to Eclipse Glasses USA, which repurposes used glasses for future celestial events. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. We'll check back in with a student-run coffee shop in Fredonia, Kansas, 5 years after opening. Plus, the Pittsburgh Police Department provides free checks to make sure children's car seats are safe.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. Prosecutors in Neosho, Missouri file a statutory rape charge against a Neosho school employee. Authorities say Jacob Oakes sexually assaulted a minor several times from 2021 to this year. He has not been arrested, as the warrant in the case includes a $5,000 code bond. Oakes is listed as a counselor at South Elementary School on the Neosho School District's website, though the district says he was put on leave when they became aware of the allegations. Missouri Governor Mike Parson announces $5 million in grants to fund equipment upgrades for law enforcement, fire service, and EMS providers across the state. The state's Department of Public Safety approved 70 grants for providers to provide new equipment, including patrol vehicles, body cameras, ambulances, radios, and more. The Pittsburgh Police Department today conducted a car seat check lane event. Technicians inspected child seats, and family response advocates provided families with information about their program. Members of the Rotary Club and Community Health Center were also on hand to help.
When car seats are not installed properly, there is a greater risk of harm to the child. So it is our job to be able to make sure that they are installed properly, make sure that they are the right height and weight of the child, and just really overall just make sure that child is safe in transportation.
The event was part of the week of the young child. Well, students in Fredonia, Kansas are now 5 years into running and operating a successful business. KOAM was there for the grand opening of the Hive 5 years ago. The coffee shop in Fredonia is now a staple in the community. KOAM's Anthony Saviello caught up with students to see just how far the business has come 5 years later.
A ringing of a bell is how most students start their morning. However, Fredonia Yellow Jackets prefer a different sound.
The reason I wanted to start working here is because I had so many advocators in the upper class, and I just loved those upperclassmen, so I wanted to work here with them. But also, it's a great opportunity to learn skills.
5 years ago, when the student-run coffee shop known as The Hive first opened, the walls were mostly bare, and the menu had less options. Fast forward, and now it's a thriving business and hub for the community.
It's just something our school's really passionate about. Everyone who comes up from the elementary school or middle school is like, I want to work at the Hive, I want to be like the Hive managers and Hive supervisors. It's kind of like, I would say, like the cool thing to do at our high school. Everyone kind of wants to work here.
For students like Brenna Harvey, who has been working at the Hive since its early days, this place is a second home.
I feel like I've given most of my life to being at the Hive and coming up with new ideas. You know, I in the drawer every day, so I'm here a lot.
And though she's set to graduate this year, she's leaving the Hive in good hands.
I think this is a learning experience, so we're all growing and learning new things about coffee, about just our community, how to like be a team, especially when like things change, we all have to like adjust to it. But I do think that everybody should at least experience what it's like to work here.
For these students, the Hive is more than just a job. It's a right step for their future.
None of my family's ever been to college, so I kind of wanted to be the first. And
in the meantime, they'll continue to make a killer cup of coffee. Reporting in Fredonia, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
I bet that is some good coffee. To celebrate the 5-year anniversary of the Hive, the shop offered 10% off of all drinks and food. Well, a Sarcoxie resident made a surprise discovery yesterday. A large swarm of bees on a fire hydrant. Youch! Police contacted Jared Malcolm, who keeps bees as a hobby. Malcolm was able to locate the queen in the swarm, and all others followed into a transport box. If you experience a bee swarm, you can contact the Joplin Area Beekeeping Association. Just head over to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. A bit later, how artificial intelligence and 3D printing are advancing research of the ocean's depths.
Rain is finally starting to clear out of our region off to the east. Taking a look out at the Cornell Complex Arts and Entertainment Center of downtown Joplin. Still pretty wet out there, although rain did just pass by downtown Joplin, but winds are picking up tonight, and we see winds continuing to gust pretty high tomorrow. Now, the amount of rainfall that we've gotten, still getting some more in some of those southeastern counties, but the most rainfall we got was just north of Joplin, nearly 3 inches, just a little bit less. But maybe some localized flooding there. Everywhere else just got about 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches. And after that, we're going to have a nice couple of days with no rain, not until next week. And here is the rain starting to shift out of the east. You can see it just passed by Joplin, and it's a part of a bigger system. This system that went through Dallas and is going through Arkansas right now, that's where the main threat for severe weather is. However, the biggest system that we've had the last couple of days went through our southern states, and you can see it dropped a tornado in Houston, a few reports in Louisiana. We got a tornado in Mississippi and in Alabama. So that was a pretty severe system. Luckily, it was just in our southern states and we didn't get that. But we did get a lot of rainfall. Now we have a warming trend moving in. Does not start tonight. Temperatures tonight getting down to the mid 40s. So it's going to be a pretty chilly night ahead, and temperatures only getting up to the mid to lower 60s tomorrow across the region. It's also going to be pretty windy, winds about 10, 15, maybe 20 miles per hour with gusts up to 30, 35 miles per hour. And this starts pretty early in the morning. This is 6:30. We'll see wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. That continues on throughout the day. About 1 p.m. we see wind gusts 33 miles per hour in Fort Scott and Iola. So it's going to be a pretty windy day tomorrow. Normally that would give us concern for fire weather, and it still is a concern for everywhere that didn't get that much rainfall. Now in most of the central counties you got pretty good rainfall and the soil is saturated, but in some of the counties that didn't get much could still be a concern for fire weather. Now, the fire weather concerns come back around later this week. We do have this ridge forming over our area. It's a ridge of high pressure, so it brings in warmer temperatures, a lot calmer and drier air around us. And that brings us more concern for the fire weather. Now, this is Saturday. We've got some clouds coming in, and it's also going to be another windy day on Saturday with temperatures getting up to about 80 degrees. That's where we're going to see the elevated fire risks. Tomorrow, still elevated fire risks, but since we did have a lot of rainfall, may not be as drastic as what we're going to see on Saturday. Now, temperatures getting up to the 80s. Sunday, 84, Monday, 82. And then we've got some thunderstorm chances coming in early Tuesday. Those stick around all week next week, so we're going to have a lot of rainfall next week as well.
Okay, well, if you didn't get your mowing done before today's rain, you got a few more days to dry out before it starts raining again.
You know, it's about that time that it really, you just have to do it every week now. I mean, yeah. I mowed my lawn not too long ago and it's already a few inches tall.
I discovered I need to get my blades sharpened on my lawnmower though, because it took too much effort. Too much effort. Got to work on that.
Yeah, definitely don't blame me there.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. Well, the women behind the iconic World War II Rosie the Riveter campaign received a Congressional Gold Medal today. Now in their 90s and beyond, about 30 made the trip to the nation's capital for the honor. Natalie Brand shares some of their stories.
It's an honor decades in the making.
I'm so proud to be able to symbolically accept this medal for all of you.
This group of women bonded through their work during World War II, recognized today by congressional leaders for their initiative and patriotism.
We felt it was very important work at that time.
Dorothy Bogus of Washington, D.C., who turns 107 next month, worked as a typist and correspondence clerk for the Department of Defense.
We were answering letters from families who were concerned about their families overseas.
Sylvia Tanis of Michigan, just shy of 99, lied about her age during the war to get a job at a Ford plant working on the B-25 bomber.
I was putting what was called the de-icer on the B-25. It was all women, and we didn't know we were Rosies. We were just riveters.
Ernestine Ween of California, one of the youngest Rosies at 96, labored in agriculture while still in high school.
I says, what did I do? And but I thought, well, I'm out here and I'm working for the war effort, so that's important, and I'm sticking it out.
What does it mean to get that gold medal?
It means I did my country good during the war, that I helped somehow.
The women also share a bond of having loved ones, husbands and brothers who served.
Women particularly hadn't been noticed as much as the men that went to service.
The Rosies say their work on the home front made a difference too.
Impressive women there. Coming up in sports, the Royals and Cardinals both try to continue their winning ways. Plus, a Labette County basketball player signs with Fort Scott Community College. John Dales has those stories and more up next.
A high school basketball standout from Southeast Kansas signs a commitment today in front of friends and family, which ensures he'll stay in the area, but as a college basketball player. Xavier Phillips, a 6'4" senior guard at Labette County High School, signs his letter of intent to commit to Fort Scott Community College. The future Greyhound is excited about the opportunity to grow his game and to grow as a person.
I went out and watched a couple games, and I felt like I fit their play style the best, and just the coach, we just fit really well together, and I think it just was good, the best fit. I'm just looking to forward to how much I'm going to improve over just 1 year, and just looking forward to bonding with a bunch of teammates.
Pittsburgh State softball off until the weekend, but moves up in this week's top 25 coaches poll. The Gorillas are now the number 9 team in the country. This comes after they've won 6 games in a row. PSU has a top 25 showdown on the horizon. The Gorillas play 23rd ranked Washburn in a road doubleheader. That's on Friday night. Well, we've got another local team in the top 10 for baseball. Missouri Southern moves up to number 8 in today's coaches poll. The Lions trade places with Ashland, who was number 8 last week. Now they're in the 9th spot behind Southern. Missouri Southern lost on the road to Rogers State yesterday. Lions play 3 more road games this weekend at Northeastern State. To Major League Baseball, the Royals and Cardinals, both coming off wins last night, each of them try to replicate that today. Rainy day at Busch Stadium, Cardinals down 1 in the 2nd inning until Brendan Donovan crushes this pitch to right. That's gone for a solo homer, ties the game. Still tied, 6th inning, when Brandon Marsh hits an RBI single into left field off Andre Palante. Phillies up 4-2. Now we go ahead, bottom of the 8th inning. Interesting play here. Victor Scott II looks like he has an infield single, but the Phillies tag him out at first, and he's called out. That's because, we'll show you on the replay here, he took a step towards second base, putting him back in play as a runner. Cardinals cannot catch a break. Last chance in the 9th inning, runner on first base for Jordan Walker, and he grounds into a game-ending double play. Cardinals lose the game. They also lose the series to Philadelphia, 2-1. Elsewhere, the Royals win big over the Astros, 11-2 the final score. Seth Lugo picks up his 2nd win of the year. He goes 6 innings, allowing just 2 runs. Kansas City goes for the series sweep tomorrow afternoon. Then in the NBA, the Thunder win their 3rd game in a row tonight, 127-89 over the Spurs. 4 different players score in double figures for OKC in the blowout. Josh Giddey leads the way with a double-double off 20 points and 12 rebounds. That's a look at sports. We'll be back with more news after this.
Efforts to learn more about what lies under the deep blue sea take a lot of work, with most dive teams only able to spend a few hours at a time researching what's below. But in the ever-evolving digital world, breakthroughs in artificial intelligence and 3D printing technology could help give scientists the tools to more efficiently study the sea. Fox News' Chris DeMeo is diving in.
It's often said we know more about the surface of the moon than we do about what lies beneath the world's oceans.
A world that is wholly underexplored.
The oceans cover roughly 70% of the planet, but as of last year, less than 25% of the seafloor has been mapped. This according to the latest data from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Scientists hope the latest technological breakthroughs can help us better study the sea.
Dive teams can only see so much and go so far.
In Australia, researchers trying to monitor marine life and combat the effects of coral bleaching along the Great Barrier Reef are getting help from an artificial intelligence-powered underwater drone called Hydrus.
We've had to augment our survey methods to include the use of robotics, just to enable us to scale, to go deeper, to operate in areas where predators like crocodiles and bull sharks and jellyfish now routinely reside.
While Hydrus can autonomously collect data for up to 3 hours at depths of nearly 10,000 feet, teams at a company called Deep are aiming to build 3D printed underwater research centers. In the future, those hubs could allow scientists to live comfortably while studying the oceans for weeks at a time instead of just completing quick dives.
What we're trying to do is allow individuals to go and be at depths of up to 200 meters for at least a month at a time. And what we're trying to do is buy time, raise productivity for science, for research, and other critical activities that occur on the seabed to happen in a more fluid and safe way.
Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
From underwater to drinking it, coming up, we'll meet a dog who went viral for loudly slurping during its owner's business meeting. Thirsty Pooch in California lapped up so much water she disrupted a video meeting and became an internet hit. Jeannie Moose reports on the Doggy Slurp Fest.
Most dogs slurp, but 11-year-old Bella slurped her way to viral fame.
She just like romped over and started slurping out of the doggy bowl.
California resident Dawn Verselli was on an important work-from-home video call.
And my mom told everyone to be quiet, and then she started slurping, but then she just kept going.
Kept going so long that Dawn's daughter Jessica started recording it.
You're hearing my dog.
Commenters were in awe. Is it her first time having water? That bowl does not look big enough to hold that much water. Of course, it could have been much worse if it weren't just water. Remember Jack, the New Jersey pooch who got into his owner's Baileys and vodka?
Jack, try to walk. Come on, let's go.
Unlike Jack, Bella could still pass a field sobriety test. Still, that is one long slurp.
I know. I think she had just woken up from a nap.
The pit bull probably had a little dry mouth. Commenters had solutions. Note, remember to empty water dish before next meeting.
Now there's a good idea.
At least Bella
It's water. You like it.
didn't require instruction. Nobody has to hold Bella's tongue.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of leopards at a zoo in Peru. Have a great night and an even better tomorrow.